Welcome back to Drift Delvers. It's episode 5. We're almost done. We're almost there.
Almost done?
Yeah. It says, I didn't tell you that this was just a one-shot.
Just a
long one-shot.
in and out, 15-minute adventure.
You guys thought you were going to level up in this adventure? No.
I mean, I actually prefer the Vesk alternate reality, so I think I'm just going to stay.
Just stay here.
Yeah, journey's done. Yeah. I like lizards.
So, what's going on? How y'all doing on this Thursday evening?
Doing pretty good. It's Thursday.
It's Friday Eve, you see, so tomorrow.
Almost as good as I'll be tomorrow.
It's Friday Eve.
Friday Eve, yeah.
It's also payday eve for me.
It is payday eve too, yeah.
So,
I could use that.
Generally speaking, not great, but just wait until midnight. And that direct deposit hits.
Yeah, mine comes in on Wednesdays at, midnight or whatever, 12:01.
Mine's different every month.
Have never done direct deposit. I've been with my job almost closing in on 5 years, and I have never done direct deposit. I'm like one of like a dozen employees.
That sounds like what old people do.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly inconvenient.
I want the paper check. I deposit that bad boy with my app. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no.
And what do you do with those paper checks?
Just hang on to them.
Yeah, you ever gone back and looked through them for memory's sake? Oh, I remember this page. I remember this paycheck.
No,
you don't have to do that either. You can actually go online and check pay stubs.
But here's the thing. They won't let you do direct deposit if you have what they call low leave balance. As in you have less than 40 hours of personal leave in the tank. Right? And due to Gen Con, and then right after it, I'm going out to see my sister. I'm going to be at near zero leave.
You on that zero leave status?
Yeah,
well, I mean,
and
you
say
that like you were about to switch over. You've gone 5 years without doing it. Like
I know.
You aren't going to start.
Right. I have. I'm cooking, man. Okay, let me. I had to introduce some things in order to tell you the thing that. Okay, well, after we got back from Gen Con, I got a notice from HR saying that I was in very low leave balance, that I couldn't do direct deposit, and I was like, okay, no problem. I don't do it anyway. And they were like, okay, well, you really need to get your leave balance up. And I was like, nope, I'm fixing to drain it in like a few weeks, actually. And they were like so upset by it because I guess they think that if you're burning all your leave, that you're gonna quit. And so they were trying to figure out if I was like trying to quit or something.
Well, I
silly.
mean,
Like, nah, man, I'm just trying to have a
whole
life
conversation.
outside
that
this
is a
job.
conversation we can have, HR, but I'm not necessarily doing that. But
that's not why I'm burning this leave now.
Right. But if
I
you
just
must
got shit
know,
I want to do.
Right.
I won't leave, but if you promote me, I definitely won't.
Right.
Yeah, you might convince me to stick around.
Yeah, right.
Why is my shit being held up? Like, what's the problem?
Why don't you just give me some more leave? I'll take that too.
Yeah.
Why don't you just?
I'm so bad about if we have downtime. Like if I'm not on the road teaching a class or we're not working an event, and I'm just fucking sitting there at my desk, like, I don't have a plan I have to update. There's no exercise that I'm planning. I mean, like, dude. I'll be like, fuck this. I'm going home. I would say I'm going home. Like, I'm going home.
You burn up all your leave just leaving work an hour early all the time?
Yeah, or a half day or, whatever, dude. Like, because if I'm going to just be sitting here.
Drop day,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what leave is for,
I would way rather be doing than sitting here at this desk for nothing. If I've got something important to do, I'm there, baby. I'm doing it. But
I agree that seems like the appropriate way to use leave, honestly. So, like, I don't see what they're fussing about.
yeah,
should be
they're
able to
fussing,
use leave
though, man.
wherever you
They're-
wanna do,
They're
you know?
very upset with me right now, and they're going to be more upset when I get back after next week.
Oh,
and
no.
they're like, you have you have 0 hours of leave, or you have 3 hours of leave, and I'm like, well,
I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
used what you gave me. It's called
yeah,
leave.
like that's what I don't understand. Like you allocate these hours for a specific purpose, and then get upset when I use them for that purpose. I just.
That's why I don't offer leave here at STF. I just don't want to deal with it. You know?
All right, I'm out. I'm
Y'all
taking
would
it.
use that shit.
I think that would require offering pay first. You know,
Well, shh, we're not. No.
legally
don't talk about
speaking.
Listen, we don't talk about salary,
No,
okay?
stop.
That's a personal matter. We can't discuss these kinds of
Yeah.
things.
That's against the
It's-
bylaws.
As you can
Yeah.
see, the CEO does not want us discussing our
that.
salaries.
Yeah, stop.
Wonder why that is. Wonder why that is.
Yeah,
This is-
we're all
hey,
equal
this is not
salary
living
here.
that fly. No,
You're right. You're right.
Don't do me like that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well, did any of you guys do anything interesting this
mean-
week?
This weekend.
Or week? But yeah, sure, weekend,
Yeah.
week.
I mean, it was my birthday.
Yeah.
Dustin's birthday was Saturday. Mine was last Wednesday. I got to play with Dustin and John. It was D&D 5th edition, but it was the first like in-person game I've ever played. So that was cool. And our friend Justin has a bunch of like, he's got 1 million minis and like little buildings and structures you can put up. And I like made the starting town map of the D&D 5e starter box, and we played that. Now I've got everybody already convinced to play Pathfinder 2nd edition.
Well,
Yeah.
before we get to the Pathfinder, what was the name of the campaign that we started? It wasn't a
Stormreach,
campaign.
right? Something Stormreach.
Nah, it's
It's Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, which is
Yeah.
it's the short adventure. It's what replaced Lost Mines of Phandelver as the starter box.
oh really?
Yeah, and I've read through it some more because I took the book home because I was like, I'll come back. You know, we can meet up in a month or two and we'll finish it out. But I've read some more of the book and I looked up some reviews and stuff, and people are mad. The quality is not up to Lost Mine of Phandelver standard. So
I mean, dude, the quality hasn't been up to standard for years when it comes to.
yeah, I mean, I'm not
modules.
talking about 5e as a whole. Like that's a whole different conversation. But literally, just comparing those two
Well, I just mean like
starter
the
box
writing.
adventures.
The writing of adventures have just been. It's been a problem for a while. You know what I mean? And it is frustrating. It's one of the big reasons why I, as the GM, wanted to move away from 5e. Because it's just like those adventures that they give you. It's so bare bones. Anyway, we don't have to go down that road.
Can't
Sounds
even
like,
get a colored map, man.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Jesus.
Heath, it sounds like it was a good time.
It was.
The pictures you sent me looked cool and fun, and you guys had your little joint birthday weekend. All that, though, that was a month ago. Now, if you're listening to this,
Right.
the week it comes out, but still, we have lives. Deal with it. That happens
That's right.
at different times, and when you listen to this, like.
Sometimes it's right on time, and our
If I
conversations are
sound
very
stressed,
very relevant. You know,
If I sound stressed in the banter, that means we recorded it within a week of its release.
But
Yeah, by this point, when this is released, this is going to be like we'll probably have already had our second session by then. Who knows?
well, how was your Labor Day weekend, everybody? Since we're talking about
The future?
past, yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty certain that a good chunk of my Labor Day weekend will be spent listening to Fish at Dick's, because that's what they do every Labor Day. And I'm trying very much to make sure that I'm in some sort of body of water on Sunday or Monday, whether it be a pool or a river or an ocean. I just want to be swimming at some point.
Go swim in the bywater, dude.
No, I don't want to
Cleanse
get eaten
yourself.
by
It's
alligators.
It's like, hey, go
the
swim in the
Estradi
Estradi.
Yeah.
That's right. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah, Labor Day. It's whatever. You know, it's whatever. Yeah. It's whatever.
Oh, I did go
Yeah.
see Alien Romulus on Saturday.
Oh yeah, how was that?
That's probably one of the best just general movies I've seen. Like it's like they took Alien and Aliens.
I don't think you're thinking about like the
all of
breadth
the movies.
of film right now.
No,
Well, I mean, I was in it, you know.
hate on it all you want. That's what I love about Dustin is like the man loves everything. Like I never trust a review from Dustin and never have, because it's like he might be like, this was the greatest thing ever, and it's something that I would absolutely hate. But like your enthusiasm is like what's so cool about being your friend. But it makes for mistrustful advice, and
trust this
recommendations.
advice. I mean,
I have heard good things about Romulus. You know, in the such that it is just a fun movie to go to. It's an alien movie for real. You know,
Oh, for real? That's good.
Instead of trying to be something like lofty or overly
It's not trying to be
raw
Prometheus.
in mythos, and it's funny. I've had this conversation like several times this week because Alien is out. I liked Prometheus as a standalone film. It's a terrible Alien movie, but as a standalone film, it's pretty good.
I never
it.
watched it.
I like
liked
the
it.
world building it does. You learn a lot.
No, I hate the world building it does. That's the problems with Prometheus.
What do you like about it?
The movie part of it. Like, if you don't try to like attach it to like a bigger picture,
Yeah.
and it's just about following this crew of, on this spaceship and the monster that they had to deal with, it's a pretty good monster movie. Really strong visual effects. Some great suspenseful situations. As soon as you try to understand the lore of it, that's where it falls apart to me.
We have opposite
I'm a big
opinions of the
Alien
movie.
fanboy, so
I think
can't
that
do that.
every decision the humans made in that movie was completely idiotic and wrong. Like almost every decision they made.
that's what makes it a good horror movie.
Going onto a extraterrestrial planet, and the first thing they do when they get on the ground is take their helmets off.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, what the
No,
fuck?
but
Seems
that's
like,
like-
breathable atmosphere.
But that's like classic horror, right? Like your protagonists have to be stupid. Or
Yeah.
else-
Yeah, that's why horror fucking sucks in general as a
dude.
genre.
well, okay.
No, I disagree. Like it just has a different goal in mind than telling a
Cohesive story.
sense of a logical cast. Like its goals are to create situations that are suspenseful and terrifying. And in order to do that, you have to have people who are not intelligent to get themselves into these situations. And you always have the one person that is resourceful, and they're the ones that make it through the movie. Like the horror movies are about spectacle rather than the trying to like say something. And I think there's a place in film for that. You know what I mean? Like I like horror. I've come to be a fan of horror later in my life. I used to dislike horror for that reason. I was like, oh, this is all stupid and everybody's stupid and this plot makes no sense. And it's like, well, horror movies never claim to be about the plot. They claim to be about the horror. You know what I mean? Like, and there are some good horror movies that transcend and do have good plots. Like Hereditary is great. Get Out is great. And those types of movies
Jacob's
are
Ladder.
thoughtful. Well, Jacob's Ladder is more of a thriller than a horror, even though it
I'd
has
agree.
horror elements.
I thought
in it.
I liked Nope a lot. Actually.
I haven't seen Nope yet.
Oh
but
man, I
haven't
like.
either.
I think it's my favorite Jordan Peele
Yeah?
film.
Yeah,
for,
I'm gonna-
for sure. Yeah.
He's done Us, Nope, and
Get
is
Out.
that it?
Get Out.
Get Out.
Get Out. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just said
It's funny we're talking about this. I was talking about the exact same thing last night. I recorded some stuff with Will Save, doing the Old Gods of Appalachia TTRPG, and it seems pretty neat. We just did kind of a session 0, but like opening banter was about horror movies. Like, what was your like scarring, like too young to watch this movie, like horror movie moment, And we went around the world with it and got to the Jordan Peele movies, and I haven't seen any of them, of the 3 horror movies, and I was trying to ask. I was like, are they in like a shared universe? Are they like connected somehow?
No,
Okay.
Not really. No.
I don't think so.
They have similar like tonal things, but they're independent stories.
Okay. I just didn't know legitimately.
But yeah, I don't know.
Mine was 7.
But that's again, I don't consider that a horror movie.
That's a cerebral thriller.
Look, man,
Yeah.
I was way too young to see that.
It doesn't mean it can't be traumatic.
Yeah.
So, like, are we defining horror movies like specifically as horror movies that don't try to transcend the genre? Because if that's the case,
No.
it makes it way easier. I just don't like horror movies because the only ones I'm interested in are the ones that try to do something more than be a dumbass horror movie.
7 is not intending to scare you. It's intending to provide suspense, and it has some grisly scenes in it, but its goal is not to create terror in the viewer. Horror movies, that's the goal, is to create terror, fear, is to engage with the fear emotion, and so there's lots of ways that you can do that, and like something like Nightmare on Elm Street does it very viscerally with like visual stimuli, right? Like
Gore.
It like picks a thing, like your dreams. Everybody has dreams. Everybody's had a nightmare. And it's like, what if you could actually die in your nightmare? Well, that's horror. That's scary. You know what I mean? Whereas something like 7 is at its roots a crime thriller. It's there's.
Yeah.
I would say that horror needs to have some amount of supernatural elements to it, and like it may not be explicit because if you look at something like Halloween, Michael Myers doesn't necessarily isn't like a ghost or a demon, but he does have kind of supernatural strength and speed because he can always be there, right? Like they're and I don't know, horror. There's a difference between horror and suspense, and I don't know if we're already at 17 minutes, so we
Alien
don't have
Romulus
to
is a
into
horror
it,
film. It's very disturbing. Music, imagery, suspense, everything. Just like the Alien and Aliens 2. It's right there in the bunch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's where I'm at with Aliens.
Yeah. All right, great. Well, I think we should discuss this further, maybe in another banter.
Maybe next time we'll like fully dig into thrillers.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the side of the fence I land on. Like, I'll watch a thriller any day of the week, but like an actual like horror movie with a capital H, like 90% of the time, I'm unimpressed.
So, the situation that you guys find yourself in now, I would consider more of a thriller situation than a horror situation.
Thank God.
Yeah, because it's more of just like a cerebral, like, what the fuck is going on? Why are we here? What's happening? The last thing that we did last week was that you guys, in tandem with your alternate selves, fought off an Aslanti starship and succeeded. It was also our first try at narrative starship combat, and I'm so far a fan. I liked it. You guys succeeded in disabling the Aslanti starship, and your alternates were somewhat impressed, a little bit at least, and they softened just a hair enough to be like, all right, we're going to come over to your ship for dinner, and they're going to come to your ship in about an hour and a half. I want to remind you that you guys have not slept since the drift crash happened. So you went to hell, repaired your ship, ran away from a devil who now has a vendetta against you, engaged your signal chaos engine, arrived in this alternate universe, discovered that it's likely in control of the Veskarium, and then met mirror versions of yourselves who are all battle-scarred and grizzled, and then fought the Aslanti ship, and they want to come over and ask you some questions.
So
wanted to get... Go ahead.
Sorry, the element of this that is horror and not thriller is that I've got an hour and a half to prepare a dinner for 8.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
The horror.
that's
The
rough,
horror.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
We're gonna put that off on somebody
Yeah,
else.
just make some omelets.
Yeah, you got a crew that can help. But
Grilled
speaking of
cheese
your
sandwiches.
Speaking of your crew, let me ask you this. I'll let you guys decide this. Were they in the bridge when you guys had this conversation with your mirror selves? Do they know what do they know? And that's up to you guys to decide.
I mean, this
we can
is
write
still
that part of
like,
the fiction together, you know?
well, so if we were just coming out of like the call and that's where we were picking up, it'd be like, no, I don't think there's any way they would know. We'd need to alert them. But then we did a whole starship combat.
Right, so they do know that you guys got into a starship fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, but you guys haven't told them any particulars other than like bat down the hatches and prepare for starship combat. But like, what do you think that they know?
I don't feel like that they would know that there would be mirrorverse of ourselves.
Right, I feel like that's
don't think that they would know that the
detail.
Vesks have
Yeah.
taken over the galaxy.
Yeah,
Or not.
like I'm not trying to further traumatize all of these people on
Okay.
the ship.
So I understand that. However, the reality is these people are about to board your ship, and there is no way to hide the fact that somebody is boarding your ship, and you guys are going to have to go to the large common space to accommodate
the crew
for this dinner.
Right.
Yeah.
Gather them up
Right.
and like, here's the rundown. I mean, we're
Yeah,
not
I mean,
trying to be like
we've got
secret
an
about
hour
it.
and a half.
Yeah, I mean, in that
you know?
case, we just tell them straight up. Like,
Yeah.
what,
Right, so
what's
agree.
the point? What's the point? You know, and anything but the total truth. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
what's
Yeah,
the
we're
point of a half
scientists.
truth? What's the point of withholding any of the information?
I agree.
It's all going to come out in the wash.
So who's going to lead that up? Like, who's going to tell, like, we don't have to, like, RP it all out. I've already got to have to do a lot of voices, so I'm not going to RP all 5 of your Starship NPCs. But I do think it's worth talking about it and saying, okay, because these people are stuck with you as well. And they aren't just going away as you go from situation to situation. So we need to consider where they're at. So, yeah, Heath, what do you think?
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Raya is the only one that really kind of has a strong relationship with one of the crew members, in Jamila. Am I
Yeah,
I believe
I
so,
mean, that's
yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I think Jamila and Raya's relationship, like Raya might be the one to head that up, but also because in this trying time, Raya's probably looking to do anything she can to like distract herself from just thinking about the. I know this situation with the doppelgangers or whatever is bad enough, but for her, the whole dragon transformations thing is very raw, and
there's a lot
maybe
going
trying
on.
to kind of ignore that a little bit by taking on, the responsibility of kind of breaking the news to the crew.
Yeah, okay. Another thing to consider is that you do all know Angela, to some degree because she has interviewed you. Mm-hmm. She's your handler, right? And so she's like gotten to know each of you to best know how to like interact with you as your media spokesman, right? And she's kind of taken the role of the lead of the NPC crew that you have, right? So she's like the voice for Lenny and Tahir and
She's their
Jamila.
face.
Yeah, right, right. And Walter and all that. So like she will eventually be coming to you guys and saying, all right, she's the one who's going to say, all right, what's going on, guys? Like where are we at? So Heath, if Raya is going to be the one to share the information, Angela would come to you first, one-on-one.
Okay.
And then, so you would then tell her, hey, I want to gather everybody together. We got some news to share. And So you guys are making the choice to be completely transparent to the rest of your crew.
Yes.
Are we hiding any of the effects of the drift crash, basically? That
I mean, you can't hide yours.
Yeah, I
Right.
can't, but
I can dismiss
Plain on
mine,
your face.
though.
You can't hide that.
Yeah, I can dismiss any of my dragon transformations, though. And would, not wanting to freak anybody out.
yeah. I think we would keep the personal stuff personal, and then this is the overarching situation, this is what's happened, this is
Right.
where we are, and this is what's about to happen.
Yeah, I think our sort of transformational aspects, for one, those are very personal, and also they're so new that, like, we're trying to figure them out. So I think that, to Dustin's point, that's the thing to hold close to the chest,
Yeah.
Not out of, like, trying to be shady, but just, like, let's not, like, give out that information and like, alarm anybody before we even understand it,
Okay.
That's it.
So the transparency angle is where we're going. And
Yes.
so I'm just kind of making notes of that so that I have an understanding of what the dynamic between the rest of your crew and you guys are. So you do have an hour and a half, and I do want to give you guys an opportunity as the kind of people in charge, I guess, at this point, to have a discussion amongst yourselves before your counterparts come, if there's anything you guys want to get aligned on before they show up on your ship, like give you guys a kind of chance to talk a little bit before they get over there.
Is there anything that we need to get aligned on?
I don't know. That's
So,
the question.
as far as that's concerned, I imagine that first off, we would need to establish some sort of like, hey, if people are going to be running about, that's probably something that like, hey, we need to keep an eye. Like everybody needs to stick in the common room, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So I
As far
guess
as-
maybe this part in character, right?
Yeah.
Like as you're discussing with each other. Okay, hey, ourselves are about to come over.
Right.
What does that conversation
Yeah,
look
exactly.
like between the four
Yeah,
of you?
yeah. So, I don't know, but so here's the situation. We've got a bunch of ourselves coming over, and right now, I'm nervous as hell about them coming over here and having just complete unrestricted access to our ship. And so as I said on that on the view screen back there, I think we really should just keep them all just corralled here in the common room. Is anybody against that? I don't see why they
Well, I mean,
wouldn't be.
it's though this situation is odd. This is our ship, so we have every right to not allow them access. And even though they're alternate universe versions of ourselves, a ship has hierarchy regardless of universe. So don't try and offend them, but I think it would be pretty common to have them in the common room, in the obvious place.
And we
Other
don't
than that-
really know their intentions. I mean,
Well, they don't know our intentions either, so that could be an opportunity.
Okay, so I guess ourselves would be information gathering just the same as we will, but we need to be mindful of what we say during this lunch of ours. Oh God!
In what way? Like, are you trying to concoct a lie that we're not from another time and place?
I am not a very good liar.
I'm not interested in lying. Like, they're curious because this is odd. Well, let's explain to them the full oddness of the situation. And look, I know. Sorry, I know this would be very easy for us to turn quite antagonistic, and we don't want this to turn into a scuffle. So I would urge, however this goes, keep an open mind, because for one, we're working with broken or new and unexplained technologies. It's possible we might be here for a while, and we might need to see if we can foster allies.
Very well put there.
I mean, I agree. We just need to be careful. Not saying we need to lie, but we don't need to give them everything. You know, first off, we need to tell the truth and verify that we are from a different universe. But other than that, you know, I don't think we should be sharing the things that happen to us.
And I agree with that, Gildy.
I'm just scared of this entire situation.
To agree, I mean, I have to agree with Gildy on that one aspect, is that we should probably keep any of these manifestations quiet, probably amongst even the crew, our own crew, until we know further. Just as Gildy pointed out. But also, I think what Gildy's also trying to say is that, well, we shouldn't try to appear weak. This civilization seems to thrive on strength. And I think we need to project strength.
Well, then it might be better to be honest about the transformations. What's more like to make us seem stronger than mysterious magical powers?
But it's even better if you can use it as a trump card if they don't expect it.
I am inclined to think that I would ally with myself. However, I cannot speak for myself because I do not know what kind of person I am or the things that I have been through.
That makes sense.
The other me.
Okay, I was confused
Some of
for a moment.
experiences, I get it.
This is a very confusing situation.
I don't know myself. I'm having a crisis. Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined. Whoa, went into a wrong accent there. I'm inclined to agree with you, Sayun. I want to think that I would. If anyone would ally with me, it would be an alternate universe version of me. So, to that point, let's not get lax. Let's be on guard. But we may have no better chance to ally with someone in this version of the world than this specific group of individuals. These may be our only chance at finding help, at finding... I mean, we need research, data. We need to figure out how this new drive works. We need time.
Okay.
All great points.
The voice of reason. I mean, all good points. And I suppose it's better to be treating with ourselves than some randos. You know, at least they're us in appearance, at least.
Do you think that... Wait, hold on, let me get this voice right. Do you think that your other version of yourself has a version of me too? Says Tooth.
I guess
Don't
we'll have
see
to see.
why not. You know?
I guess we'll have to see. I hope not.
Well,
But
I mean,
maybe that's a good thing.
given that I am a holographic projection and all that, do you think that they have those here?
Oh, definitely, Tooth. You could.
I wonder what another Tooth looks like.
Probably have a scar or maybe a mohawk.
Maybe I would look better with a scar or a mohawk. And like, as he says that, like a mohawk just sprouts out the top of his head.
If there is another Tooth, you two could get together and form a band and call it Teeth.
Oh, Jesus, don't give him ideas.
That sounds fantastic. I love it. what kind of music you think that we would make? And then like goes and starts
punk
thinking
rock
to himself.
immediately.
Oh, punk rock. That seems, well, yeah. I don't know how to play anything, so that seems like the
So
easiest
punk
way
rock,
to go.
yeah.
Right. All right.
Okay, I do know that I want to take a 10-minute rest since we got an hour now.
Sure.
that's-
Just in case. Just in case. I do have to. Ooh, I'm down to 2 results.
I mean, is there anything more you want to say amongst each other, or is it like, okay, time to start preparing, getting the dinner ready, getting the space ready, all that kind of thing?
Maybe we should cook what we would want to eat.
That's great, actually. Yeah.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
It's spaghetti.
I'll talk to Jamila. She can whip something up.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Like, we can lean into this part of it or not if you want, but the dinner is broken up into 5 phases, okay?
Okay.
Or courses. Soup, appetizer, salad, main course, and dessert. And the idea is that you guys can basically discuss a single topic over each course. So you have like 5 rounds of discussion.
Okay.
So if you want to lean into a menu of that, or we can just say that you make some sort of soup, some sort of appetizer. That's up to you.
Now let's lean
like,
into it.
I figured Dustin might want to lean into
Right,
that a little bit. You
We
know?
don't talk about food
I'm
enough.
here
I mean,
for it.
it's built into the game. Like, yeah.
They created dinner the mini game. I mean, we've
Right.
They did, yeah.
I'm about
got to be
it.
true to the game.
Should we cook up
Alright,
some
so-
whale polyp bisque?
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
There are other ingredients in the world than whale polyps, and you know, like I
that's
just want to
none
point that
better.
out.
Yeah, like what? Like what, Adam? Like what?
We're
Like what?
creating whale polyps 5 ways.
What else? What else is there? Name one
Whale
food.
polyps are the caviar of the
tofu.
Starfinder universe.
Free
Okay?
range organic whale polyps. All right. Tell me there's anything better. than
Harvested
that.
from info.
I'll wait.
I mean, I can't come up with it off the top.
Yeah, because whale
Exactly.
polyps are fucking
Yeah,
delicious.
that's all there is.
It's got to be a very disarming soup. Something to just lift you
I
up
mean,
and
there's
just delight your
yarrow
I
taste.
know for a fact there are noodles. There are
There's
ramen
noodles?
shops.
There's yarrow berries.
Oh yeah, there are yarrow berries. There's succulent paste.
There's succulent paste.
Well, there's all kinds of meats as well from animals that don't exist in our world.
Yeah, the's like Defrick steaks.
Yeah.
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 I think we got to have some grilled Defrex skewers
Yeah.
for one of the
For the appetizer, maybe.
Nisalora ribs.
We'll do that for the main course.
Nisalora
right.
ribs? That'd be amazing.
And then for the salad, you could do like a yarrow berry, like in greens, you know, with some
Yeah,
Defrex blue cheese because they're stinky. So like they make some stinky cheese.
I love it.
That's how
yeah.
it works. That's how it works. Yeah.
Nisalora ribs would
Yeah,
be fucking
I guess.
humongous, dude.
I want to see
Whale
all
polyp
those
soup.
food and Starfinder.
Whale polyp soups make sense. You know what I mean? And then you can do like a yarrow berry custard as well for dessert.
Yeah, that sounds delightful.
I'm thriving on this menu.
Yeah, it's a good menu. It's a good menu. All right. So the time comes, and their ship, the Murata, comes up next to yours, and you kind of feel the ship shake a little bit as it docks onto your ship, and the little docking tube connects to your airlock into your cargo bay. I assume you guys will meet them at the airlock, right?
Yes, for sure.
All right, so they step through, and they're all wearing they're in their full armor. They have their weapons on them. You had asked them not to have their weapons, and they balked big time at that. Like, it was like,
Right.
that's like against societal norms to even think about asking that. Like, everybody walks around with their weapons, and you know, to your point earlier, like show of strength is a big part of what this culture is, right? So they come decked out in their stuff, but it is like it's all like the kind of like freebooter style of armor, that Fallout, like what do they call it, the Reavers or whatever.
It's just sort of homemade.
Yeah.
Well, the free captain.
It's not quite so like pieced together out of that, but it's battle worn. Like you know what I mean? Like it's not sharp and clean. It looks like that they have been in a lot of fights. There's lots of scratches and chinks in their armor. They themselves are scarred up and like have burn tissue and stuff on their skin. And they're up front is Mirror Subana. We'll call them Veskarium Subana, okay? She's up front, and then there's Gil behind Veskarium Subana, Vesk Gil. And Vesk Gil's skin is all gray. White hair, does not have the same coloring. Looks much more like Gil did prior to the drift crash.
Got the grayscale.
Yeah. And there is a holographic pet sitting on the shoulder, but it's like an imp rather than a tooth fairy.
Nice.
So
His
it's
name's
a red.
Gooch.
Yeah, all right. His name is Gooch.
His name is Gooch.
But like, it doesn't have the same whimsy as Tooth does, right? Like this imp, furrowed brow, sharp talons, like kind of hackled, like ready to jump at any moment,
Bit darker,
Then-
little hairy.
Yeah. Then Vesk Raya has dragon scales across one half of their face.
Oh, well then, I don't think that our big reveal, if we were going to pop one off, is going to go to plan.
Right. Well, you can make of that of what you will, but please note that Gil does not have all the drift coloring. Mm-hmm. But Raya does have like some what looks like mutations of dragon scale on
No, that's
on
perfect. That's my end to like try to probe them about
Right.
if they had transformations.
Sayun, Vesk Sayun, also in all black. They almost look identical.
Just pointing at each other with all four.
Look, the alternate universe one, the only difference is he's got a single eyebrow ring.
That is the only difference. Yeah, so that's what you see before you. And then Vesk Subana says, well, we're here. I hope that you prepared a nice meal for us. We are famished after another encounter with those blasted Aslanti. You think that you'd get tired of killing Aslanti, but you don't. You just don't. But it sure works up an appetite. So, care to lead the way?
Do they speak common?
They are speaking in Vesk.
Okay.
All right.
God damn it.
So first off, Subana kind of graciously is prepared to receive them, and she says, "The Aslanti, the Aslanti are a bit of a problem on our side too, but regardless."
They when you say that, they look at each other kind of scoffing at the idea of a bit of a problem. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they don't say anything, but they definitely exchange glances as you say that.
Right. And regardless, we welcome you to our ship, and we extend our gratitude to our battle brethren, unexpected as it may be.
All right, great. Cool. Where's the table?
And I also request that everybody speak in common from now on, so that way
They
not
look
just
around
us.
each other.
Vesk is
What?
common.
What do you
that's a
mean?
great
This is
point.
this. That they definitely look puzzled at that.
How do you express common when common is Vesk for them?
You don't.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
I mean, you can try to speak it, but they just won't understand it, you know?
I mean, they might. And
we got Google Translate on these bad boys.
I was just thinking the same thing, dude.
Well, go ahead, John.
Yeah, okay. And she's going to express it in common, say the same thing. Like, well, the language I'm speaking to now is one of the languages that is spoken on our side, and helps bridge communication.
Great. Listen, we speak the mother tongue, and that's what we speak. But, and she looks back to Vesk Gill. Can you help these poor saps? And Vesk Gill pulls out a little gadget that's like it looks like a microphone with a little speaker on it, and he kind of attaches it to his shoulder with the microphone pointing towards you and the speaker pointing towards you. And they're like, we are not going to speak whatever filth that is, but this translation device will make it to where you can understand what we're saying, I suppose. I need you to just speak a few words in your gutter trash language so that it can start to pick up some of the cues and translate. It'll get better the more that you speak. Mm-hmm. I don't really like the idea of tainting our database with this nonsense, but if we have to, I guess.
And so, yeah, she's just going to respond back like, okay, so now I'm speaking in this gutter trash filth, and I can keep on talking if you need me to, or if it's going to go ahead and...
Stop. Christ, for I don't know, for Zarkathon's sake, shut up.
For Demoratosh's sake.
Yeah,
right, Demoratosh, there you go.
For Demoratosh's sake, just stop. That's enough. I would prefer if you're going to do most of the talking, maintain the Vesk. It's just better. But look, for all your niceties, and before Subhana can finish, Vesk saying is like, I'm hungry. Let's eat. And she just points. Yeah.
I could not have said it better myself.
No, not in that language. You couldn't. Let's go.
Fair enough. Yeah. Definitely going to go ahead and head over to the common room then.
All right. So you guys get down, and there's no attention to social niceties. They go in, just sit down. They're not waiting for you guys to sit down. They don't wait for you guys to show them where to sit. They get in their chairs. Sayun spins a chair around and sits in it youth pastor style. Gilderon gets in it and just man spreads his little gnome legs all the way apart. You know what I mean?
So, I think that's in sharp contrast to our Sayun, who is very meticulous as he lays out all of his, his utensils. He clasps his hands together. He says a silent prayer, and he's got a little bit of a ritualistic way to start his meal, and it's very refined and dignified and specific and meaningful, and in sharp contrast to the complete lack of regard that this other Sayun shows when it comes to sitting down for a meal. I think that would be you said they look very, very similar, but they behave very, very differently.
I will say that Vesk Sayun, they get down, and if the soup is already there, Raya is slurping the soup already, just taking it in. And Vesk Sayun is being very cavalier as well, but does notice you say Zach Sayun going through all this pretense of respect for the food,
Yeah.
And you would recognize this, Zach Sayun, because you're you. Uh-huh. You recognize the look of suspicion on your counterpart's face when they look at you, seeing you doing that. It's just like as they see, and each of you can see that in your counterpart, that if you're like sitting down here and trying to have like a nice dinner and be like polite, they like a couple of them might like laugh at you, but there's also some suspicion on their face, like what is this? You know what I mean? Like why are they doing this? You know?
I think Raya is like appalled at their lack of decorum. You know, like I was torn before we got into this. Like my thought was like, this is a dinner, you know, and the social niceties would be a part of it where we come from. So my thought was Raya like went and like changed out of her armor and into a dress and like wanted to be a good host, and then they like speak Vesk, insult our language, call us mongrels and stuff, and now they're just like the dwarves in the Hobbit movie, you know, just like slurping and slopping stuff all over the place, and she is like trying very hard not to be like visibly disgusted by their behavior, and is like having to catch herself just like wide-eyed staring at them.
All right, so we're in the first course of our meal here. And so is there a collective question, subject that you guys want to discuss over soup? Over the whale polyp soup? And Subhana, I'm going to, the rest of you can jump in, but I'm going to lean on Subhana as the kind of head this up, unless
Because
some
she
of you...
speaks Vesk.
Right.
I want to know what's going on in your timeline, in your world. Like, why why are you speaking Vesk? I feel
that's
like
a great question. That's a great question to start with.
Yeah.
So Subhana, you can ask that in whatever way that you think makes sense.
I maybe wouldn't approach as, why are you speaking Vesk? Because that's like throwing their attitude back at them. But like maybe dig into their like their history a little bit. Like tell us about the Pact Worlds as it stands.
Right. First off, not the Pact Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what we think of as the Pact Worlds.
While also kind of sharing what's happening in our universe. Like in our universe, the Veskarium is this. In your universe, it's not.
All right, so go ahead.
Yeah. It's pretty plain to see that Veskarium seems to run this operation around this sector of space. Just curious about. I think all of our crew is curious about. How'd this come to be, and where's your, and like, we'd like to know a little bit of historical context.
All right, roll a diplomacy check.
We're so good at those.
This is gonna be tough, guys.
Hold on one second.
Just gonna fail all of these.
Oh, right. This is gonna be a learning experience. Like
Every
inspirations.
encounter
it's gonna be humbling.
is
really
going
what
to
this
come
is.
to a fight
Right.
because
We don't have a charisma character at all.
we
What the hell
cannot
did you say about
negotiate
the
our
Vesk?
way out of a paper bag, dude.
Right. Okay, I got a +4 on my my
that's not bad.
diplomacy. So
That's not bad.
Just roll a 15.
All right.
nah, I rolled a 5, so that's a 9.
See, Johnny, you should have just told him to roll a 15, dude.
So
I pull out my gun.
they're like, well, I mean, yeah, well, I don't understand your problem here. It's the Veskarium has been in control forever. What are you asking? You know,
Well,
what's your point?
So it's not really a
Slurping
problem.
soup, you know.
And we just we are academics. We like to learn what we can about our visitors.
They like kind of chuckle at each other. Academics. Oh, the luxury of being able to take time to read books. Jesus.
Learn your letters.
Fucking nerds is basically what they're saying. They're like, look, the Veskarium has been in control of this system, since like 36 AG. So whatever you think you know about the Veskarium and these worlds, I mean, for scientists, you're pretty stupid.
I love how brusque they are.
I fucking hate it so much. Like, it's a chance for Adam to just be a dick to us and us have nothing to do about it because we have no charisma. He set us up. He knew 5 episodes in we were going to have a charisma dinner.
He's keeping his mouth shut.
Yeah,
But every little quip and comment and attitude that they have, it's just adding to the checklist in his mind of how much he does not like these people.
Right,
you know?
right. They ask you a question in turn.
Oh, okay. All right.
Since you failed your diplomacy, they're not really going to get too much into that. But they say, look, we got a question ourselves. Is how did such a weak group of scientists, you said, right? Right? You're all scientists.
Yes,
that's correct.
Correct.
Okay. We'll go with that. How did you get here?
So, we got here through a anomaly that took our ship over here. We, in fact, merged with another ship when they attempted to board us. And
Oh my God! It just gets even better. So you're telling me you got here because you failed to fend off an attack on your ship, right?
no, we happened to survive that, and they are nowhere here, and they are no longer with us.
Okay.
Saying
That's
it that way,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
and that,
All right.
So you didn't mention the solar storm.
right. I was getting that. And so, anyway, there was a solar storm that took place, and, well, pirates that took us happened to be using solar sails that were powered by their deities, the Besmara. Well, I believe on
Besmara.
working theory that there was merging, and she's starting to kind of go into egghead because she's a researcher, and so she's now starting to detail her theory as far as the merging of the chaos sails that are powered by the maelstrom, powered by the solar storm, and then the drift occurring, like the drift anomaly, all pinging at the same time to merge the ship. And she's kind of just like rattling off, like what's it called? Like more, like much more scientific terms, And she's just kind of like forgetting, like she's essentially hosting the Klingons. You know what I mean?
As you're saying that, the more that you talk, the more agitated your mirror cells get, and to the point to where Vesk Sayun slams one of his fists down and breaks one of the soup bowls, his empty soup bowl.
Sayun stands up from the table with his hand on his sword, and he looks Sayun right in the eyes.
Yeah, he looks back, not afraid, and says,
Yeah.
He says, "It is your fault that we are all in this situation. You broke the drift with your incompetence."
We did no such thing.
And Vesk Gilderon is like,
No, calm down, Sayun. That's just not the case. That's preposterous to think that these nothings could have such a tremendous effect across our entire universe. They don't even know where they are.
and
Good point,
Subana,
Giltron.
Vesk Subana, everybody calm down.
You forget your manners, Sayun.
Fuck your manners. We're not here for that. No time for manners. You don't know where you are, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, in Kasath, Sayun says to Sayun, I don't expect you to understand. You have forgotten your mother tongue because you've allowed yourself to be subjugated by the Vesk.
Roll an intimidate.
It's an intimidate, dude.
Say
That old charisma score. Let's see.
I'm
Look
gonna-
at
I have no. I have.
I know. I'm
Right,
gonna give you a
right.
plus.
Roll
I'm
them
gonna give you
bones,
a,
dude. Come on.
I'm gonna give you a +2 on this because you evoked the mother tongue, and I mean that's like hit him where it hurt kind of thing.
19 total.
All right. He sits down and just sweeps the broken shards of the bowl onto the floor, and just crosses all 4 of his arms. Just doesn't respond to you, but he sits down and.
Seiyun relaxes his grip and sits back down calmly.
All right.
Yeah.
Just a tiny little thing. And Sibana, like the smallest hint of a smirk, 'cause she understands Kasathan.
Oh, does she?
Yes, she
Oh,
does.
nice.
Yes, she
Very
does.
nice.
Intelligence
So-
class, baby.
Yeah.
So Angela comes out very nervously now with a tray of the skewers, the Defrex skewers. She says, "Okay, appetizers are served," and she kind of gives a pointed look at Seiyun. Like I assume at some,
he
point
nods.
you guys talked about like managing anger. In stressful situations, right? It's she's like, and she like picks up the pieces of the bowl and scurries back out, and now you have the Defrex skewers in front of you, and they just like, I mean, it's almost nauseating the way that they eat it. They eat like scavengers.
Yeah.
Gil's gonna try to match that intensity.
And while they won't admit it, they haven't had food of this quality in a long time. And so you can tell that they're like really enjoying it. So you can ask another question, follow-up question, but we're in the second meal here, or second course of the meal, rather.
All right.
And you can keep digging along the line that you were if you want to get more specific about this universe and its the Veskarian
that's
and all that.
actually so. The thing here is that I'm interested in so far of the historical context now that the Aslanti seem to be providing much more of a. They're much more of a force here than they are back home, where they're more so relegated to their sector of space.
So what do you ask then?
I mean,
So-
I would ask. I mean, sorry to cut in, but like they just revealed there's something wrong with the drift. You know,
Right.
so
Yes.
that would
That's a
be
good
like the
point. Yeah.
next
No.
logical like
Yeah,
question, like
yeah.
what the heck is going on with the
Absolutely.
drift? That's kind of like what we're
Absolutely.
you
trying to
know,
find out.
That's true.
But it sounds like they
Yeah.
didn't know either.
Well, I just want to point out that you guys have a shared enemy in the Aslanti, and maybe to help bridge some of the tensions that are growing. They right now think, or at least some of them think that you guys are responsible for the drift. So maybe bringing that up like immediately. You can. I'm just offering a little bit of
And we could
context
ask.
about what just happened. You know what I mean? Like,
We could ask about their conflict with the Aslanti, because what we learned is that the Vesk conquered long ago. Like, this is not like, we went to another timeline and it's like they've been conquered for 20 years. It's been a long time, since
300
36, So that is their society now. But we could at least try to learn more about, okay, so I guess it's kind of a two-faction thing with the Aslanti and the Veskarium, but like how serious is that conflict? Are they an open war? Is this like border skirmishes type stuff?
And so that actually brings up a good point. Now, I understand that some of your crewmates are a bit heated about the source of these drift anomalies, but I'm actually very curious about the conflict, the ongoing conflict for your ancient empire having such a problem with the Aslanti. How are they a thorn in your foot?
when you say Aslanti, Veskraya, I mean, spits like a whole chunk of meat on the ground, just like
That's so Klingon.
and says fucking Islandi. I can't do Scottish. I'm sorry. So it's
Okay.
but yes, says the fucking Islandi. Fucking terrible. I fucking hate them. That's the best I got. I almost considered making Vesk Raya mute.
Thus far, I thought you had.
So Vesk Subana says, well, I mean, the Veskarium's first contact with those fucks happened about 50 years ago. 269 AG. You still use AG from wherever you're from? Is that... You're not... That's... I'm not talking...
That's
too
preferred
over your
nomenclature.
head, right? Okay, all right, great. Well, of course, I mean, the two empires, we immediately declared war on each other, as is what you do. You have to show your strength, and we did. However, the war has raged now for 2 decades, as they're a formidable opponent. We find that we're somewhat evenly matched, which is, I'm loath to admit that. But there was joy. There's joy in war. We've had furious deep space battles, conquered new worlds. It's all been glorious. But then, 30 years ago, that's when the bugs came. Fucking swarm. They invaded Vesk 4 and Galarian 6, which, Heath Raya, if you were to do a quick lookup of Galarian 6 on the infosphere, you would recognize that to be known as Triaxis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would even necessitate
You would know that it's the 6th planet.
Yeah,
It's
right.
the
Like
sixth
you
planet,
just
right,
you
right.
just put the model of the solar system in your head,
Right. And Veskarium is pretty, boring with their naming structures.
Yeah. Well, then it became a 2-front war for all of us. The Veskarium was forced to go on the defense. So they hired mercenaries like us to keep up the effort against the Star Empire, while they focused most of their might against what we call these bugs. We call them the Swarm.
That's what we called
Likewise.
them too.
Oh, so are they a problem where you're from?
That being the question, as far as where we are in the timeline,
No, they're not.
Yeah, the
not a
Swarm War
problem
is
anymore.
over. The second
Yeah,
Swarm War
they
is
were
over.
was gonna
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
We had 2 Swarm Wars, right?
correct.
Yes.
correct.
Yeah.
okay. No, in fact, we managed to beat them off not just once, but twice.
They kind of look at each other.
Because we are very powerful. Saying just as matter of factly,
Right,
just
right.
just as a little dig,
As you say
know.
that, Vesk saying like he. How is this gonna work? Because how do Kasatha eat?
They like move their masks and like
Tuck it
feed
under.
food
Yeah.
underneath it. They
Under
use
the
a
mask.
straw whenever possible. Anything to avoid showing their faces.
Right.
Now I don't know.
All right. So
I don't know if he has that same culture.
So
though.
he has the mask, but like when you say that your universe, your
yeah.
your timeline or whatever defeated the Swarm, like you can see kind of rippling through them. Like okay, all right, that's a thing. And Vesk Sayun pulls down his mask and looks directly at you, Sayun, and just takes a big bite out of the skewer. I mean, and like I imagine it's gross. Like his teeth are all gnarled, whatever kind of mouth that they have under there, and like he's just showing it to you, like
Well,
bald face.
That's so complicated because that hasn't even been revealed in Starfinder what their mouths look like.
Canon here
you know?
now.
And so, like, I'm not going to say what it is. It's so horrific, I couldn't even begin to describe it.
The thing is, like, I don't think it's really that horrific.
No,
underneath
it's
there.
not.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not about to make up what that is canonically.
No,
but
that's
you
just
see
his
it.
disfigurement with his mouth. That's what it is.
Yeah. He's the one. He's the one that got shot.
What I was going to say is that there is an obvious wound in his mouth,
Like that's
that it's
why
been
he's
like
wearing a mask.
Yeah, that it's like been fish hooked, you know.
Yeah.
and not like brought together in a good hospital, like obviously stitched back together on the road
Field
type
dressing
of thing.
type.
So it's really scarred, and he just chews this in front of you with what maybe is a smile, and roll a sense motive.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Big +0 to that bad boy. Ooh, that's a 7.
This act is an affront to you.
I mean, I was going, I was going to say such a thing. However, I do think that it's important. After he let him get to him the first time, he I think that Sayun understands his game, and he stops eating. Like he puts his skewer down, and he takes a few deep breaths, and he says in Kasath, "Sayun of Clan Vaho, what a rude, shameful, tasteless, tactless display that you have committed." And he turns to his party and he says in common, "I'm sorry, everyone, for what you have witnessed here."
And he, at your response to that, to his action that he did there, because remember, he did that in response to hearing you guys showing a sign of strength. He doesn't rage out, but he is pissed at your response here,
Seething.
and not, in a way that it's like, dude, fuck you. This was my one moment of trying to show you some respect, and fuck you. You know what I mean?
Shit.
Difference
in culture.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, because you rolled so low on the sense motive, you can only react with what you know.
Yeah.
And he puts the mask back up and doesn't touch the rest of his skewer. Next meal.
Just mouth jams that man.
Yeah, I mean, but they would though. Like Kasatha would absolutely mouth shame any other Kasatha that would openly display their mouths in front of any other non-Kasatha who was not in their
Right.
immediate family.
Yeah,
I mean, it did affront him, legitimately.
Totally.
To see yourself do something that you would never do in such a way, he was viscerally moved by that in such a way that prompted him to have a little outburst about it.
Sure.
I think that was appropriately played there.
I think so too. So your girl comes out with a big bowl of yarrow berry and Defrick's cheese salad over some greens, and puts it in, and then has 8 side plates that she puts out for everybody, and then hands the serving tongs to Subana. So Subana, while you're serving the salad, you can ask another question.
Okay.
Tell me when to stop, y'all.
Exactly.
Y'all say when.
I just full disclosure, I don't care at what point, and if we want to save it towards the end, Raya's only question, just letting you guys, take the lead, whatever. She doesn't speak Vesk, but she wants to use the scales, the dragon scales on Raya 2's face to dig into, we know that the drift crisis of some kind happened. Dig into that, ask about it, and try to figure out if they are undergoing transformations like we are, if they were imbued with powers.
How many courses do we have left? You said it's five courses?
Yeah, so this is the third course.
Okay. All right. Third course. Okay.
And don't forget you can ask them questions about themselves, too. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different avenues you can go. I just want to...
Right. Well,
You're doing good. You guys are doing great so far.
Yeah, because we got information about... we still need to ask about the drift. Okay. I guess that... Okay, yeah. We'll lead into that. Okay, so... well... Now I'm curious about the any kind of ramifications that you seem to be experiencing with the drift. I heard some of your crew say that they think that we started it, and I can assure you we didn't. But I'm just curious. Have y'all undergone any kind of transformations? And looks pointedly at Raya, but also to see if there's been any kind of
What are you looking at? What are you looking at?
Well, I just happen to notice that you happen to have beautiful scales like me, and your counterpart doesn't seem to be showing any scales.
I don't know what you're going on about, but I have been able to do the... I'm sorry, can't do it. I don't know what you're going on about, but I've had... These are dragon scales, not Vesk scales, and I've had these for quite some time. It is a sign of my power and my ability. And then Vesk Subana says, as far as going to transformation, we did not allow ourselves to entwine with a pirate ship of chaos sails. So we are just here, and we were trying to engage the drift, yesterday, I suppose, sometime yesterday, to move on to another shipping lane, and our drift engine just didn't activate. I mean, well, roll a diplomacy check.
All right, okay. This is what I was hoping we'd get into. So let's see. 13.
Yeah, I don't think any of the rest of that's your business, in fact. But no, a transformation we did not have. We are the strong, capable, furious warriors that we have always been.
Interesting. So that actually makes sense, considering that this is offside, but because of what was mentioned earlier regarding Gilderon not experiencing any kind of, change or Vesk Gilderon didn't,
Well then, how the fuck did you get dragon scales? Is that an augmentation?
Then yeah. Can he ask that question, or would that count against?
No, because it's all kind of the same subject, right? Roll a diplomacy.
All right, another person that can fail it. Let's go.
We can all ask questions.
Yeah, 7.
Damn.
This is dumb. We should have rethought this party.
No, I love it.
I suppose, or no, wait. You're asking Raya, right?
Yes.
Yes. I suppose that in your universe, you have not yet learned how to evolve. This is a common thing here. This is what we do. We evolve and adapt to the needs of our strengths and weaknesses. You are weak and uninspired.
Time to pop some claws.
I'm so tempted to just sprout wings right now.
Honestly, I'm wondering a display of aggression would actually change their tune, But because we have so far shown that we are capable, without having to resort to aggression. you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to you, Heath, if you think Raya would flex
Yeah, would Ryan
her
flex?
new powers, you know?
Now we've built it up. But yes, I think, fuck it, let's make a move. And both Heath and Raya this whole time has just been getting more and more frustrated with, like, their absolute, like, bully mentality, you know? Not that it's unexpected. Like, I get that comes from the years of Vesk domination, fucking toxic masculine society. But like, it's finally just a bridge too far. It's been one after another. I imagine for the first multiple courses, like, Raya was sitting and just taking, like, tiny nibbles, like, not wanting to speak up, like, letting everyone else handle it, and just getting more and more angry at every little jab now that she can understand them, because initially she couldn't understand Vesk.
Right.
And so, yeah, when Raya 2 just takes a dig at her saying that we're weak because we can't. And also, I almost wanted to sense motive. It's like, is that bullshit? Like, are you trying to tell me everyone in this universe is an evolutionist? Like, that's meta, I know.
Well, that's not, I'll just tell you, that's not what she was saying. She was just saying that evolutionists existed. You know, like they didn't need a drift crash to become an evolutionist. Is kind of what I was trying to convey. You know,
Gotcha.
Yeah. I hear you, but I don't like it. I put a lot of work into explaining my evolutionist.
well,
They just get it for free.
Your truth is your
Bizarro,
truth.
Raya.
Yeah, your truth is your truth. You know,
Right.
but that's going to have some impact on your thoughts about yourself too. You know, like.
Yeah. But yeah, so, like, once she calls, like, just says, you're weak, Raya, like, slides her chair back and stands up and just, like, she's still learning to control this, right? But just the fury kind of overtakes her, and I think just a set of fucking wings grows, because my weapon can be anything. Like, I could literally buffet people with my wings if I wanted to. It wouldn't give me reach, but I could justify hitting them with them. And just sprouts a big pair of, like icy blue and purple, like, ice crystal encrusted wings.
Tight.
And says, we all evolve due to the circumstances that we're put in, but that doesn't mean that we have to antagonize and force a situation to turn to violence. And you're not far from it.
So they all kind of, as your wings unfurl, they all kind of lean back a little bit. They stop eating their salad. And it's quiet for a second. And then Raya 2, her two hands come up in front of her face. You see one hand has a little bit of claw look to her face, or to her hand, with some scales and some talons. And she just starts
Clapping.
like clapping,
Golf clapping?
Yeah, kind of patronizingly clapping. I see that you're not weak. Very good. Let's continue to eat. Yes, I'm still hungry.
Yeah, she, like, huffs, just like, fuck these guys, you know? It's fully Raya was the one that was like, let's not, you know, let's consider they might be potential allies and everything, but, like, the actual constant prodding and shitting on us for nothing, it gets to her finally, but she just huffs and, like, sits down.
Love it.
And, like, just like, really not eating, just, like, digging around on her plate just to not look at anyone.
So, Gil 2, Vesk Gil, at this point, speaks up and says,
So, tell me, what is the science that you do? What is your goal? If it's not the glory of battle and finding research on how to better achieve destruction and domination, what is it that you do?
So, well, actually, did you want to answer this, or do you want me, or Mike?
I mean, I can. If it's Gil
go for
talking,
it.
I can
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
to Gil.
absolutely. Hey, absolutely. Like, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, our goals have changed recently, for sure. Our original mission obviously is scrapped until we find out a way to our home universe, but currently our goal is to figure out what's happening in this universe, find some way that we can possibly make it back to our universe. Simple as that.
Everybody roll a perception check
Okay.
when he says that.
I've got points in this.
Perceptione. I'm good at it.
And I roll a natural 1, dude. Oh my
Wah, wah,
Okay.
wah.
I thought that was me that rolled the natural one.
Gilderon rolled a 26.
Thank goodness. I had a 13.
And yeah.
A 13?
I believe so.
Looks like a 19 to me.
Oh, I was looking at Subana. Yeah, okay, cool. I got a 19, but a 26 is better than that.
Well, okay, so, but the two of you
Rolled a 10.
both notice a quick exchange of looks when your Gilderon mentions trying to find like a way out of this universe. That it's a very quick, very subtle, but they exchange like a glance.
What did the glance like? Was it knowing or like a discovering type of glance?
It was just a reaction to that, you know.
Y'all.
And it was between Gilderon and who? Subana?
Well,
Between all of
Gilderon
them,
and
I guess.
Raya, you noticed it, but like when Gil said that, they all kind of like looked at each other real like.
Oh,
like
everybody. Okay.
Their eyes just kind of like very quickly like darted to each other and then like back to their salad. You know.
Man.
Yeah.
I think that I feel like just out of character. I feel like that glance is because they're an empire that conquers, and yes, while this group is mercenaries,
Of letting us go,
yeah. Or they also want to know how to exit, so that way they can conquer our
Right, how can we go to a whole other universe and conquer it for the glory of Demoritash?
you know. And it's just
Yeah, these are good
Ooh.
questions.
Yeah.
But the meal continues
Well, we don't know.
as
Yeah,
Angela
yeah.
comes in and clears the salad out to bring. What kind of ribs was it? Did you say?
Nisalora, which are the pink T-Rex with praying mantis blade arms.
Right. So
those,
she brings out this platter of these like giant ribs, and the Veskarium crew, they can't hide it anymore. Their mouths are watering. They
I
are
know,
like,
this was my trump card meal decision. It's like
Dude,
So
this
I
is
will
where
say-
we win them over, you know?
I
So-
don't know about that.
So I will say that on this course, you will get a +2 to any diplomacy, intimidate, or bluff rolls because they are enamored and a little distracted by this feast that you've just put in front of them. So what do you want to ask them now, Miss Subana?
Oh gosh. The question to ask while they are all enraptured by this food.
You could bring up the look.
Or ask them about themselves, you know. While their guard is down, you know.
Okay. All right.
Or the look, but like
Yeah.
I just tell you, like, they're not going to be so forthcoming with all that, you know.
Sure,
Like,
sure. So, what does a crew like you do in your downtime when you're not up against the Aslanti or the Swarm?
Well, all right, roll your diplomacy
All right,
with a +2.
all right. It's a natural 20.
Oh, shit.
26. 20, it's 28 now.
Let's go.
I wonder, like, and because they're like enjoying this meal, their guard's a little down, and you're asking about them, and they are jumping at the opportunity to talk about themselves. Subana's like, well, I mean, when we're not doing work for the Veskarium, we kind of act as pirates, you know, and take odd jobs here and there,
damn it.
bounty hunting, robbery, assassination. Hey, you got to pay the bills to keep this thing going. It's a Vesk eat Vesk world out here, and I would like to say that we're pretty good at being bloodthirsty, cruel, and dominating. I can tell you many stories about ships that we've boarded and slit their throats and watched their blood run down the rivulets of the floor that they once walked. And they're saying this as if you guys would be impressed by it, like
good times.
I just imagine meat drippings are just dripping down their chin as they're talking about this shit, It's just
tell him about the time that we slayed a whole ship of Lashuntas trying to escape from the sky patrol of the Veskarium. Tell him about that time. It was one of my favorites. The way that they screamed, oh my gosh. I wish I had that on recording.
This is the mirror universe.
way too exuberant about this. The murder, death, kill of poor innocent Lashunta, the only thing that would make it worse would probably be Skittermander, But
I wish there was a way we could have organized to poison their meal.
oh hey, hold on 1 second, docking procedure. Everybody just stay into the air, the airlock for just a moment. This is part of our culture,
So they, basically they answer your question with a bunch of showboating about how ruthless they are.
Pirate bravado.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Any follow-ups on this subject before we move
I was
to
just
the
going
final
to add
course?
something.
Sure.
Go for it.
Pretty recently, we were a crew to a few pirates, and we fought side by side. Killed some devils in hell.
You lot killed devils.
Yes.
And Vesk Sayun is like, I do not believe them.
I can share the sensor data. I collect pretty complete logs.
Put it on the screen.
Beep, boop, boop, beep.
You guys are sitting there, and they're just gnawing on these ribs, sauce just all over their face. And then as they watch, what they see is mostly the pirates fighting off the legions of hell while you guys ran away.
Were there any cameras in the cargo hold?
But like what I was gonna say is that you do show the Raya and Sayun fighting the couple that made it on the ship, and so both Vesk Raya and both Vesk Sayun, they actually nod to you as that happens. They give you a look okay, they actually acknowledge it rather than trying to hide their acknowledgement. Mm-hmm. Particularly when you guys got the kills,
right.
But they still kind of give you guys shit. They're like, oh, okay, so what it looks like here is that you crash landed due to incompetence, I'm sure. The pirates that you said that you fought alongside seemed to save your ass, then you let them die, and then you ran from somebody who challenged you to battle like little whelp Vesk with your tails between your legs. That's what I saw. I saw that with my eyes. Gil, did you see that with your eyes too?
Yep, I sure did. Sure did.
I suppose we all have different perspectives of reality.
As those tensions are,
One way to interpret it.
as those tensions are building,
Misinterpreting the data.
Angela comes back in. She's really been trying to mediate this from the sidelines. She's been peeking through the little door, watching it. And as tensions go, she comes and she clears the table and brings out a big trifle bowl of Yarrow berry custard. Right.
Custard. Okay.
And at this point, Vesk Subhana says, listen, I understand that we're from different cultures, different universes. Despite us looking alike, it seems like we are very different. But we both seem to be stranded in different ways. We can't leave this star space because our drift engine isn't working. And you're scientists, so maybe you can help us with that. And maybe we can help you with whatever your problem is. That's maybe a discussion for another time. But in the interest of trying to make some sort of peace, oh God, that was hard to say. Let me serve dessert. Or actually, Gil, would you do the honors of serving dessert?
Oh yes, I'd be happy to.
Can I sense motive?
No, but what I do need you guys all to do is roll a perception check.
Okay.
They're about
like
to
this.
draw down on us.
They're gonna
I'm
draw
going
our
to use
stuff.
an inspiration.
Oh, okay. So yeah, as you're doing this, Gil is walking around and he gets a spoon and starts just get big old heaping portions, and he serves his crew first. And like over half of the trifle is gone before he even gets to y'all. And you notice for sure that your portions are smaller. What'd you guys get on your perception?
19.
19, okay.
10.
For Gilderon.
Okay.
And I got a 25.
Okay. So when Gil gets to other Gil, so when Vesk Gil gets to your Gil, you, Raya, you see Vesk Gil kind of do a little flick of his wrist, and there's like a little vial attached to his wrist and sprays into the dessert. You see it, plain as day. The Vesk Gil just put something in
I
your
mean,
Gil's
look,
dessert.
I'm not playing this fucking game of charades anymore. Raya immediately, when he comes to like serve Gil or whatever, it's like, do not eat anything he hands you. This man's trying to poison you. Us.
Gil?
And Vesk Subana stands up and looks directly at Vesk Gil and says, "You son of a bitch! Get out of here right now!" And she turns to you guys and says, "I am so sorry. He is a prankster and a trickster, and he's a real pain in my ass. A thorn in my tail." Wait, do I have a tail? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'm Vesk. Yeah.
I imagine she actually just checks back there, and it's just like half of it's cut off, and they're scarred.
Yeah.
You know?
Everybody back to the ship. I am sorry, and I assure you that he will be punished accordingly.
Can I sense motive?
Absolutely.
This feels like such bullshit.
Right.
It feels like you got caught trying to assassinate us.
And like Vesk Gil is like,
Look, it was just a prank. It's just insanity, Mist. It's just would make you crazy for a little while. It wouldn't kill you.
and Vesk Subana's like, shut up, go. You have done your damage already. All right, so what do we get on those sense motives?
I only got a 14.
I got a natural 1.
Oh,
Natural
beautiful.
20. 24.
Captain.
So Subana, you're locked eyes with Vesk Subana.
Yeah.
As she's putting on this display of frustration with her own crew. And you believe that she's telling the truth, that she is going to punish Vesk Gil, and that it's likely to be prolonged and very painful, because you, as a Vesk, are aware of the type of punishments that Veskarium does, and her being a Vesk as well, of the Veskarium, you can get the sense that you don't know what they're, if she's particularly like worried about you guys being okay. It's more like she's mad at Gil for
Being caught.
or maybe that, or creating a problem that didn't need to be created. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get the sense that she's actually worried about any of y'all's well-being. You know?
Yeah,
But it embarrasses them, puts them on the back foot. Poison is considered a weak,
A coward's
affront.
weapon.
Yeah,
Right.
Looks like a little bitch.
fucking
Yeah.
coward.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, this whole thing has been about them showing that they're not afraid of you, their strength, that they could give a fuck about any of you, and this poison makes them look as if they are weak and that they are intimidated by you. You know, and so you get the feeling that this punishment is going to be severe. And she turns to the rest of you, says, "I apologize for us ending on such a sour note, but consider all that we've discussed here. We'll touch base with you in the morning. I have to go deal with my crew."
And you're free to take the bowls of the custard if you didn't.
Take all that custard.
We don't need the silverware.
I will. And she like takes the whole trifle bowl, all the bowls, like just sticks it in the bowl, like it's all messy. And she just grabs the whole thing, and Vesk Sayin grabs whatever she can, and they walk towards the cargo bay without waiting for you. Now you can do whatever you want to do, but
So, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like Subana would definitely be offended by this at this point, because whether or not there's certainty or not, one of them attempted to poison, and that right there, you came into our home, and then you tried to take us out, and that's whether or not that was originally the plan or not. And she's just gonna respond. She's gonna say like, "Well, Subana, or I guess we're gonna have to get this figured out. Tubana, I'm just gonna have to let you know that while we may all be academics, you're about as sweet as succulent paste, and I'll tell you right now, succulent paste is not sweet. All right, and if you want to come after us, just remember that your ship is more damaged than ours, and a Vesk is never unarmed."
she leans into you, says, "If I wanted to come after you, you'd know." And she turns and walks towards to the airlock. She walks directly there. If you guys follow them, they don't deviate. They're going back to their ship. And we'll talk tomorrow, she says as the airlock closes. What you got, Heath?
If she said, I didn't realize you were doing a thing where it's like she closes the doors like on her as the scene. I was gonna say if she just said, "We'll see you tomorrow," Raya was gonna say, "Make an effort to gather yourselves before tomorrow. They say poison is the weapon of the afraid, the timid."
Yeah, and just like a snarl as the door closes, right? You guys have had a very long day.
Yes.
You're very,
Yeah.
you guys
It's
are
been a
very
doozy
full.
of a day.
You're very full, right? I imagine it's just you guys just want to get some rest. You know, you do whatever like tightening up of the ship that you need to do, but I'm just gonna fast forward to you guys going to your individual rooms, laying your heads down, and then you guys begin to dream, and you begin to dream intensely. Nice. And we'll see you. Thanks for listening to the STF Network. If you want to hear more from us, check out our other Starfinder and Pathfinder shows at the STFnetwork.com. That's the STFnetwork.com. And support us on Patreon to listen to our bonus podcast, including our homebrew adventures and Tom Talks, our behind-the-scenes show. Stay groovy, possums.